Well, good evening everybody and welcome along to British Speedway Quiz Night number 4. A big thanks to all of you who are joining us live and going to be interacting live with tonight's quiz in just a couple of moments time. We are going to spend the first few minutes of this live broadcast though allowing people to get settled in and of course allowing people to join, as we want as many of you playing along live as is possible. So a couple of things to remind you of. Don't forget our Monday night Speedway broadcasts are back this coming Monday, and we've got a special treat for you as well as we bring you the 2017 Championship Grand Final between the Sheffield Tigers and the Ipswich Witches, and we are bringing you both legs, both from Ollerton and Foxhall for that one. And it really was a great grand final to be a spectator of, and we're bringing that your way this Monday at 7:30 on our YouTube and Facebook channels. So we'll remind you of those information in a bit. Don't forget to also keep up to date with all of the latest breaking news on our Twitter feed at SpeedwayGB, our Facebook page by searching SpeedwayGB. We're also on Instagram as well, official British Speedway on there. And don't forget our official YouTube channel. Please subscribe to that. That is Speedway Great Britain. Don't forget all the latest news will also be posted on our official website, speedwaygb.co.uk. So, majority of you will have played along with one of our previous British Speedway quiz nights. However, there may be some of you out there who are playing along for the first time this evening. So just for those of you, we're going to just quickly run through the rules. It's split down into different rounds. We start off shortly with round number 1. This is a bumper opening round with 20 questions. And as regular competitors will know, this is our pick and mix round, just a bit of anything and everything. We then take a short break where we dig into the video vault and watch a few races from years gone by. And then we move on to our 2 themed rounds. And I can tell you this evening, our first one is called It's All Relative, and our second theme round of the evening is called Fast Tracking. So we'll complete the 2 rounds of 10 questions for those. Then we'll take a slightly longer break so you can top up your drinks and maybe fill in any gaps that you have on your answer sheet. And we'll also view a few more races, and then we'll return to run through all 40 questions and the answers for this evening's quiz. Another reminder, no prizes, it's all for a bit of fun, and like I say, the one big plus from these previous quiz nights has been seeing how many of you have been commenting to say how much you're enjoying playing along, even if you aren't getting the total points that perhaps you would like. You can play along with the good old pen and paper, sat in your living rooms, or there are those of you who do like to interact with other Speedway fans from across the UK by playing along online. So you can type your answers into the comment section on our live Facebook video or on our YouTube channel as well. If you want to think for yourself though and don't want to be influenced by others and playing along online, on Facebook you can turn the comments off. YouTube you can also disable comments, or if you enter full screen mode they should automatically disappear anyway. So I'll read the question once and then read it again, and then a 15-second countdown clock will kick in, and you've got that amount of time to write your answers down or type them in, of course. So I think that's everything run through in terms of the rules and all the important stuff you need to know. Again, it looks like we've got a good number of you playing along live with us this evening, so let's get British Speedway Quiz Night 4 underway. So round number 1 then, and this is our pick and mix round. Regular players of the British Speedway quiz will know that this is our bumper opening round consisting of 20 questions, a bit of anything and everything. If you are playing along for the first time, then all will become apparent as we kick off tonight's British Speedway Quiz Night. Question number 1. Which Danish rider revealed on his Twitter feed last Friday that he's been working as a delivery driver for Tesco during lockdown? So which Danish rider revealed on his Twitter feed last Friday that he's been working as a delivery driver for Tesco during lockdown? Question number 2. Which club race their home fixtures at Central Park? So which club race their home fixtures at Central Park? Question number 3. How many clubs will compete in the 2020 National League? So how many clubs will compete in the 2020 National League? Question 4. Which two British clubs will Brock Nickel race for in 2020? So which two British clubs will Brock Nickel race for in 2020? Our first multiple choice question of tonight's quiz. Question number 5. Which country was new Edinburgh signing Lasse Fredriksson born in? So which country was new Edinburgh signing Lasse Fredriksson born in? Is it A, Denmark, B, Finland, C, Norway, or D, Sweden? Question number 6. Which three members of Peterborough's named 2020 lineup were league champions with the Panthers back in 2006? So which three members of Peterborough's named 2020 lineup were league champions with the Panthers back in 2006? Question number 7. Ryan Douglas sealed a return to both Wolverhampton and Leicester over the winter, but which British club did he ride for between 2013 and 2017? So Ryan Douglas sealed a return to both Wolverhampton and Leicester over the winter, but which British club did he ride for between 2013 and 2017? More multiple choice then for question number 8. Who is Sheffield's track record holder? So who is Sheffield's track record holder? Is it A, Ricky Ashworth, B, Andre Compton, C, Kyle Howarth, or D, Simon Stead? Question number 9. Who is the only rider in the 2020 Berwick lineup who didn't ride for the club last season? So who is the only rider in the 2020 Berwick lineup who didn't ride for the club last season? Another multiple choice question coming up for question number 10. Which rider was crowned British Under-19 champion back-to-back in 2012 and 2013? So which rider was crowned British Under-19 champion back-to-back in 2012 and 2013? Is it A, Josh Bates, B, Max Clegg, C, Ashley Morris, or D, Stefan Nielsen? Question number 11. The Top Flight Pairs competition returned to the British Speedway calendar in 2017, but which club were the hosts? So the Top Flight Pairs competition returned to the British Speedway calendar in 2017, but which club were the hosts? Continuing the theme of that competition, question number 12. 2011 was the last staging of the named Elite League pairs, but which two riders won the silverware for pool? So 2011 was the last staging of the named Elite League pairs, but which two riders won the silverware for pool? Well, we are being generous to you this week. More multiple choice coming your way for question number 13. Popular racer Greg Hancock announced his retirement in February, but in which year did he make his official British Speedway debut with Cradley Heath? So popular racer Greg Hancock announced his retirement in February, but in which year did he make his official British Speedway debut with Cradley Heath? Is it A, 1988, B, 1989, C, 1990 or D, 1991? On to question number 14. Who was the last British club that Australian racer Davey Watt signed for? So who was the last British club that Australian racer Davey Watt signed for? Right, we're going to rewind 9 years for this next question, and it's time to put our options in a certain order. So question number 15. The following teams qualified for the 2012 Elite League playoffs, but from the highest to the lowest, can you put them in order of the total race points scored during the regular season? So the following teams qualified for the 2012 Elite League playoffs, but from highest to lowest, can you put them in the order of the total race points scored during the regular season? So your options are A, Poole, B, Swindon, C, Birmingham and D, Lakeside. Question number 16. How many years running have Glasgow qualified for the second tier playoffs? So how many years running have Glasgow qualified for the second tier playoffs? Back to one of your favourites for question number 17. From highest to lowest, can you put these four riders in order based on how many points they scored in official National League fixtures in 2019? So from highest to lowest, can you put these four riders in order based on how many points they scored in official National League fixtures in 2019? Your four options, your four riders to put in order: A, Max Clegg, B, Daniel Hume, C, Ben Morley and D, Ben Wilson. Question 18. How many new signings did Redcar make over the winter ahead of the 2020 season? So how many new signings did Redcar make over the winter ahead of the 2020 season? Question 19. Can you name the former Newcastle rider who took over at the club during the winter? So can you name the former Newcastle rider who took over at the club during the winter? Well, last week one of our themed rounds was Career Path, where we put certain years and club crests on your screen. So let's bring you another one for the final question of round number one this evening. So this rider made his British Speedway debut with Somerset in 2016 and stayed with the Rebels until 2018. In 2017 he linked up with Scunthorpe in the second tier also, and is entering a fourth straight year with the Scorpions, whilst he is also preparing for a second successive season with Ipswich in the Premiership. But who is the rider? So he made his British Speedway debut with Somerset in 2016, stayed with the Rebels until 2018. With Scunthorpe, first drove for them in 2017, entering a fourth straight year with them in 2020, and joined Ipswich in the Premiership last year, also back there. Who is it? So that's our opening bumper round complete. We're going to take a few minutes break now, and we're going to rewind to our video vault and catch some action from years gone by.
I've got the tapes and here they come, all four together into the turn, and it is Max Frick who hits the front first, but going all the way around the outside is his partner Steve Worrell looking for the lead, and here comes the Witch to split them. Cameron Heaps into the turn. It is the Aces in first and second as they race down the far side. Cameron Heaps challenging for second. He goes inside, down the back straight and back up into second place again. So here they come. Max Frick leads, but once again going back underneath him. What a fantastic battle for second. That is Max Frick, in fact, battling for that second place with Cameron Heaps. Leader of the race is Steve Worrell. Worrell comes around the turn. Frick is, just about getting the better of Cameron Heaps, I was going to say there, but Cameron comes back again. He does not give up. A sensational race for second, and Cameron gets there off the final bend into second place. Best race of the night. Now that's the sort of speedway you love to watch, that one.
Takes fly away they go. Very level start indeed. It's the man on the inside, Josh Bates, that shows. Simon Lambert's made a good one from the outside. Lambert, though, out of shape on bend number 2. Just about holding on to second, but here comes Kyle Howarth down through on his inside, and it's Howarth into second. Lambert in third with Bradford at the back. But Josh Bates making it count from the inside, but here comes Simon Lambert riding down low on the inside, trying to find a way through. Kyle Howarth here. Howarth trying to shake off the close attentions of the Peterborough man and go after his Sheffield teammate, Josh Bates. Good action here in Heat 4. Kyle Howarth really fired up, trying to hunt down Josh Bates. Bates can hear him coming, keeping it down low. Terry down the back straight for the third time. Not too much between these two Sheffield boys out front. Howarth now trying to build up his pace to come right around the outside of Josh Bates. Bates tries to block his run, but that's a good pass by Kyle Howarth. Howarth then takes it up. The Sheffield captain starting off superbly here tonight. A good outside pass off Josh Bates. He opens up his account with a checker flag victory. Kyle Howarth wins it from Josh Bates. Good stuff there in Heat 4. That was a good battle between the two Sheffield teammates there, Kyle Howarth and Josh Bates.
Well, we hope you enjoyed those video clips we just brought your way, and we hope you're all settled back in. 20 questions down and 20 to go, and as I say, these are now broken down into 2 themed rounds of 10 questions each. We're going to get things started with our first themed round, which is round 2, and tonight it's called It's All Relative. So for our first theme round this week, we're going to take a look at some family connections within the sport. So let's see how your knowledge is on the speedway of relations, you could say. Question number 1, starting with multiple choice as well. Which British club have talented trio Jason Crump, Phil Crump and Neil Street all raced for? So which British club have talented trio Jason Crump, Phil Crump and Neil Street all raced for? A. Bristol, B. Ipswich, C. Kings Lynn or D. Swindon? Question number 2. Dan and Joe Thompson celebrated their birthday last month, but how old are they? So Dan and Joe Thompson celebrated their birthday last month, but how old are they? Question number 3. Can you name the 3 famous Carlson brothers? So can you name the 3 famous Carlson brothers? On to question number 4. Which 2 brothers were Premier League Fours winners with Plymouth in 2016? So which 2 brothers were Premier League Fours winners with Plymouth in 2016? Question number 5. Brothers Danny King and Jason King both raced together in 2006 for which club? So brothers Danny King and Jason King both raced together in 2006 for which club? Question number 6. What relation is current Eastbourne captain Edward Kennett to former Eagles skipper Gordon Kennett? So what relation is current Eastbourne captain Edward Kennett to former Eagles skipper Gordon Kennett? Another multiple choice question coming your way for question number 7. The Worrell twins both missed Newcastle's Knockout Cup glory in 2012 after suffering the same injury. But what did they break? So the Worrell twins both missed Newcastle's Knockout Cup glory in 2012 after suffering the same injury. But what did they break? A. Arm, B. Collarbone or C. Leg? Question number 8. Which British club links Armando and Paco Castagna? So which British club links Armando and Paco Castagna? Question 9. How many years before brother Charles was James Wright born? So how many years before brother Charles was James Wright born? And the final question of our first themed round this week, question number 10. Can you name the 2 British clubs that both father and son duo Steve and Richard Lawson have officially ridden for during their careers? So can you name the 2 British clubs that both father and son duo Steve and Richard Lawson have officially ridden for during their careers? Moving straight on to round 3, the second theme round of this week's quiz. and the final round of British Speedway quiz night number 4. This week it's called fast tracking. I'm sure the majority of you will remember the reserve fast track system in the top flight not so long back. And if you had forgotten about it, then I'm sure it's all coming flooding back now, now that I've mentioned it. Hopefully that's the case anyway, as we move on to the final round of British Speedway quiz night number 4. And question number 1. For how many seasons did the reserve fast track draft system operate in British Speedway? So for how many seasons did the reserve fast track draft system operate in British Speedway? Question 2. Charles Wright was picked up by which top flight club as one of their reserves in both 2015 and 2016? So Charles Wright was picked up by which top flight club as one of their reserves in both 2015 and 2016? Multiple choice for question number 3. Only 2 riders retain their reserve position with the same club for the duration of the fast track system. But who were they? So only 2 riders retain their reserve position with the same club for the duration of the fast track system. But who were they? Your options: A. Adam Ellis and Ashley Morris, B. James Sargent and Kyle Newman, or C. Lewis Kerr and Stefan Nielsen. Question 4. Kings Lynn's first fast track reserve pairing shared what forename? So Kings Lynn's first fast track reserve pairing shared what forename? Question number 5. Which rider rode for Birmingham, Poole and Leicester during his time as a fast tracker? So which rider rode for Birmingham, Poole and Leicester during his time as a fast tracker? Question number 6. Can you name the rider pictured who was selected by Wolverhampton in 2014? So can you name the rider pictured who was selected by Wolverhampton in 2014? Question 7. Josh Bates featured for 3 clubs under the fast track scheme, but can you name them? So Josh Bates featured for 3 clubs under the fast track scheme, but can you name them? Question number 8 and multiple choice once again. Only 2 of the following names were fast track picks made by Eastbourne, but which 2? So only 2 of the following names were fast track picks made by Eastbourne, but which 2? Your options: A. Lewis Blackbird, B. Lewis Bridger, C. Danny Halsey and D. Ben Morley. Question 9, the penultimate question of tonight's quiz. Can you name the rider pictured who was drafted in by Bellevue for the opening months of the 2014 season? So can you name the rider pictured who was drafted in by Bellevue for the opening months of the 2014 season? And time for the final question of tonight's quiz, question number 10, and it's multiple choice for you as well. In the final pre-season fast track draft grade list to be released, which rider was ranked number 1? So in the final pre-season fast track draft grade list to be released, which rider was ranked number 1? A. Josh Orty, B. Kyle Howarth, or C. Steve Worrell? So it's time to give your brains a rest. That is British Speedway Quiz Night number 4 complete. How confident are you feeling this evening? We did throw a couple more multiple choice questions in there tonight just to make it perhaps a little bit easier for some of you who hope to score a few more points this week. We're going to take a slightly longer break now where we're going to view some more quality Speedway action. It'll also give you a chance to run to the loo, top up your drinks, or maybe, like I say, fill in any gaps you may have on your answer sheet. So we'll be back in about 5 minutes or so to run through tonight's answers. In the meantime, here's some more fine Speedway action.
Riders just about into line then for heats at number 5. 15-9 the score. Here we go. Schlein, Barker, Torshell and Harris. They're away. Torshell gets away well, so does Harris. Poor start by Ben Barker in yellow. Torshell's running wide. Bomber Harris has got it right this time. He goes through into the lead. Schlein is there on the inside, but it's Bomber Harris who leads the way for Ryehouse. Jakob Torshell having a look on the outside as they come down towards turn 1 for the second time. Cuts back to the inside. That's a great switch of line by Jakob Torshell, and it's worked. He's through into the lead. Excellent bit of riding by Torshell, but Chris Harris is fighting back. Best race of the night so far. Harris back up the inside, side by side in a turn 1. He retakes the lead, locks up on the exit. Torshell will try again down the back straight. They're swapping places like there's no tomorrow here. Torshell back up the inside, retakes the lead. Harris back on the inside again, and he retakes the lead again. How many times have they swapped the lead now? This is tremendous racing. Torshell will try again down the back straight. This time Harris cuts down lower on the exit of turn 2. Torshell going for the outside. All the grips on the inside at the moment. Schlein in third place. Across the line they come. Harris wins it ahead of Torshell. Third place goes to Schlein, and fourth for Ben Barker. Takes fly where they go. Good start from Lassabier from the inside, and Todd Kurtz has made a reasonable one as well, and it's the same old story. Lines away. There is absolutely no stopping them tonight. Kings Lynn, this makeshift side, second best in pretty much every department apart from this man, Dan Bewley. He's took a lap to get on the tail of Lassabier. What can Dan Bewley do here? I'm sure Bier will want to remain unbeaten. The tiger on his tail here. Daniel Bewley really building up his pace. Turning himself inside out. Just going to let the bike run a little more perhaps, as now Bier takes it up from Todd Kurtz. But Bewley really forcing them hard here with a lap to go. Bier and Kurtz having to work extra hard to keep Bewley behind, and he's right with them now. What can Dan Bewley do on the final corner? Throws it into the top bend, trying to power his way around the outside of Lassabier, and indeed split Todd Kurtz, and Dan Bewley and Lassabier cross the line together. Well, fabulous action in heat number 12, and once again it's this man and Daniel Bewley involved. Takes fire, and a bike problem for Adam Ellis away from the line. Big blow up for Adam Ellis. It's Bier that shows. It's Weishtek in second. Jack Smith though powered his way around the outside of it. Weishtek though dive bombs through through down low on the inside of Jack Smith, and there's nothing to choose between these two. Here's Alfred and Fleischneck Smith having a great battle here, 4-second spot. Fleischneck taking it up, Smith looking to respond, almost had to throttle back out of that. He's very, very determined here, surges his way down low, but the young Bristolian trying to block every run from Jack Smith. Years away and gone, and missing all of this. It's Fleischneck having to work overtime to keep Smith behind him. Jack Smith really fired up here. He wants to build up his pace to surge his way around the outside. Once again, throws it into the top corner, locks up slightly, a lap remaining. Great battle between the two young British lads here. Fleischneck and Smith, down the back straight they go. Jack Smith isn't finished yet, trying to power his way around the outside of him. Here comes Jack Smith with one final challenge. Fleischneck and Smith as they run to the line. Fleischneck hands on. Thrilling racing in heat number 12. Kenneth Pierre missed all of it, but I think the Swindon man, Zach Fleischneck, just managed to hold off the close attentions of Jack Smith. Great action in heat number 12. Some of the best we've enjoyed tonight. Kenneth Pierre, he was away and gone. Jack Smith and Zach Fleischneck raced out a horrific battle there in heat 12, but I think the Swindon man just about hung on.
Well, we have just been treated to some more brilliant race footage as we delved into our video archive, and a big thanks to our production team for helping us along with that. I know during these last few weeks and these testing times, being able to watch Speedway meetings and old races along the way as well has certainly helped myself, and I'm sure plenty of you out there feel the same way as well. Classic races you may never have seen either as well, obviously, if you weren't able to get to those meetings or it was hundreds of miles away. And we bring you a selection of different classic races as well, some of our favourites, a few times a week via our social media channels. So please do keep in touch with those throughout the course of the week for, like I say, all the latest up-to-date news as well. Right then, time to swap your answer sheets or get your own marking pens at the ready. Let's see how you got on in British Speedway Quiz Night number 4. So round number 1 then, and as always this was our pick and mix bumper opening round. And question number 1, which Danish rider revealed on his Twitter feed last Friday that he's been working as a delivery driver for Tesco during lockdown? The answer we were looking for, Nikolai Klint. Well, yes, we hope you've all been keeping up to date with all the latest news, as well as following what the riders have been getting up to via their own social media channels. And it was Ipswich man Klint who's been dropping off people shopping. Every little helps, I guess you could say. Question number 2. Which club race their home fixtures at Central Park? Correct answer, Kent. Well, it's the Kings who have raced at the Sittingbourne venue since 2013 and will remain there for their step up to the Championship, whilst also entering a side in the National League as well. Talking of the National League, question number 3. How many clubs will compete in the 2020 National League? The correct answer is 7. Well, yes, Armadale, Bellevue Colts, Isle of Wight, Kent Royals, Leicester Lion Clubs, Mildenhall and Plymouth are the 7 teams who will make up the 3rd tier this year. On to question number 4. Which 2 British clubs will Brock Nicol race for in 2020? Wolverhampton and Glasgow. Our marking system, we suggest giving a point if you got both right, but as always, we'll leave that up to you at your own homes. And it's 2 new clubs for the American in the Wolves and the Tigers in what will be Nicol's 3rd year in British Speedway. First multiple choice question of tonight's quiz for question number 5. Which country was new Edinburgh signing Lasse Fredriksson born in? The options were A, Denmark, B, Finland, C, Norway and D, Sweden. The correct answer was C, Norway. Well, Fredriksson has appeared at Armadale once previously during the club's 70th anniversary event in 2018, and the Monarchs have monitored his progress slowly since and handed him his first team spot in British Speedway for the 2020 season. Question number 6. Which 3 members of Peterborough's named 2020 lineup were league champions with the Panthers back in 2006? The answers Hans Andersen, Niels Christian Iversen and Ulrik Ostergaard. Again, we're giving a point if you got all three, but we'll leave that to yourselves. And it really is quite remarkable when you think about it, but part of the band will be back together for a reunion 14 years after that stunning grand final against Reading. Question number 7. Ryan Douglas sealed a return to both Wolverhampton and Leicester over the winter, but which British club did he ride for between 2013 and 2017? The correct answer is Scunthorpe. Well, Douglas made some impressive strides during the 2019 campaign and was rewarded with a doubling up role partway through the season, but it was with the Scorpions he began his racing in the UK. Multiple choice again for question number 8. Who is Sheffield's track record holder? The options we gave you were A. Ricky Ashworth, B. Andre Compton, C. Kyle Howarth and D. Simon Stead. Correct answer, option A. Ricky Ashworth. Well, all 4 of those Tigers favourites have set some super quick times around Alderton Stadium circuit, but it's Ricky Ashworth who holds the record with a time of 59.1 set a decade ago. Question 9. Who is the only rider in the 2020 Berwick lineup who didn't ride for the club last season? Kyle Bickley is the answer for question number 9. Well, the Bandits handed returns to 6 of their riders from 2019, with Bickley the only new face as he made the winter switch from Glasgow. Yet another multiple choice question for question number 10. Which rider was crowned British Under-19 champion back-to-back in 2012 and 2013? A. Josh Bates, B. Max Clegg, C. Ashley Morris or D. Stefan Nielsen? Correct answer, option D. Stefan Nielsen. Well, Josh Bates and Max Clegg both finished runner-up the year before they won the title at that level, while Ashley Morris was forced to settle for silver in both years that Stefan Nielsen was crowned champion. Question number 11. The Top Flight Pairs competition returned to the British Speedway calendar in 2017, but which club were the hosts? Somerset, the answer for that one. Well, some of you may well have easily rewound 3 years to remember the night in March at the Oak Tree Arena. Others of you may well have been reminded of that one by watching Monday night's Speedway broadcast on the British Speedway social media channels. And if you did tune in on Monday, then the chances are you would have picked up the answer also to the next one. Question number 12. 2011 was the last staging of the named Elite League pairs, but which 2 riders won the silverware for Poole? Chris Holder and Darcy Ward. Well, again, there are some additional benefits to watching our Monday night Speedway broadcast, as that information was given to you in the introduction earlier this week. The Turbo Twins were on fire for the Pirates at Kings Lynn that night and got the better of Bellevue's Chris Harris and Rory Schlein in the all-important final. More multiple choice for question number 13. Popular racer Greg Hancock announced his retirement in February, but in which year did he make his official British Speedway debut with Cradley Heath? A. 1988, B. 1989, C. 1990 or D. 1991? The correct answer was option B, 1989. Well, Hancock had a trial with the Heathens in 1988, but it wasn't until May of 1989 that he officially joined the club, and Hancock gave fine service to the likes of Coventry, Oxford, Reading and Poole before calling time on his glittering career at the age of 49. Question 14. Who was the last British club that Australian racer Davey Watt signed for? Correct answer, Rye House. Well, Watt was another strong servant to British Speedway, and whilst most commonly associated with Poole and Lakeside in his latter years, it was Rye House he raced for in the early stages of 2017 before the Rockets' closure. The first of putting some options in an order it was for question 15. The following teams qualified for the 2012 Elite League playoffs, but from the highest to the lowest, can you put them in order of the total race points scored during the regular season? Your options were Poole, who finished first in the regular standings. Option B was Swindon, C Birmingham and D Lakeside. And the correct order we were looking for was B, A, D, C. So BADC, Swindon, Poole, Lakeside and Birmingham. Once again, Our marking system says we give you a point if you got all 4 in the right order, but a lot of you are quite generous in your own homes and award 1 point per position. Again, entirely up to you. Eventual league champion Swindon may have finished runners-up in the regular standings, but scored the most team points with 1,382. Poole topped the standard table, but with 27 less team points than the Robins and a total of 1,355. Lakeside sealed the final playoff spot, but racked up 1,279 team points, and that was 3 more than third place Birmingham, who managed 1,276. Question 16. How many years running have Glasgow qualified for the second tier playoffs? 5 is the correct answer for that one. Well, the Scottish Tigers have certainly seen their fortunes turn around in recent years with that impressive run of being there or thereabouts, but it's still the ultimate prize of league glory, which continues to evade them. Question number 17, back to ordering riders for this one. From highest to lowest, can you put these 4 riders in order based on how many points they scored in official National League fixtures in 2019? Your options were A. Max Clegg, B. Daniel Hume, C. Ben Morley and D. Ben Wilson. The correct order we were looking for was A, C, B, D. So A, C, B, D, that's Max Clegg, Ben Morley, Daniel Hume and Ben Wilson. Max Clegg scored 185 points for the Cradley Heathens, while Ben Morley managed 179 for the Isle of Wight. That's 4 more points than Leicester Lion Cub skipper Daniel Hume, who racked up 175, and Ben Wilson totalled 154 points in his final season with Plymouth. Question 18. How many new signings did Redcar make over the winter ahead of the 2020 season? Correct answer for this one, 2. Well, the Bears named 5 riders who rode for the club last season, with reserve pairing Joe Lawler and Jordan Jenkins, the only 2 new faces on Teesside. Question number 19. Can you name the former Newcastle rider who took over at the club during the winter? Correct answer for this one, Rob Grant Jr. Well, Grant had a spell with the Diamonds at the beginning of the century and fronted a new look ownership to take them into 2020. And our final question for tonight's opening round was a throwback to one of the themed rounds from last week, following the career path style. And for this one, we told you that this rider made his British Speedway debut with Somerset in 2016 and stayed with the Rebels until 2018. In 2017, he linked up with Scunthorpe in the second tier also, and is entering a 4th straight year with the Scorpions, whilst he is also preparing for a 2nd successive season with Ipswich in the Premiership. But who is the rider? Correct answer, Jake Allen. So Jake Allen's career path we followed for that one. Moving straight on to round number 2 and our first themed round. And this week it was called It's All Relative. And question number 1. Which British club have talented trio Jason Crump, Phil Crump and Neil Street all raced for? We gave you 4 options. A. Bristol, B. Ipswich, C. Kings Lynn and D. Swindon. And the correct answer was D. Swindon. Well, Jason Crump enjoyed a fine single season with the Robins in 1993, while Father Phil became something of a legend in Wiltshire through his performances from 1979 to 1986, before returning for a stint in 1990. Meanwhile, Jason Crump's grandfather Neil Street joined Swindon partway through 1957 and stayed there until 1963. Bringing things way back up to date for question number 2 though. Dan and Joe Thompson celebrated their birthday last month, but how old are they? 16, the correct answer for question number 2. Well, yes, the Thompson twins reached the milestone on the 22nd of April, and that also means they are now eligible for championship racing after signing for Leicester for the 2020 season. Question number 3, and can you name the 3 famous Carlson brothers? Of course, the correct answer, Peter, Michael and Magnus. Hopefully you will have got all three names and can give yourself a point anyway. If you did only get one or two, we'll leave it up to you in your individual households how you award the points for that one. Well, the Swedish trio spent plenty of time racing in the British leagues, with all three having links to Wolverhampton and Lakeside, or Arena Essex, of course. And Michael Carlson changed his name to Michael Max in 2003. Question 4. Which two brothers were Premier League Fours winners with Plymouth in 2016? Todd and Brady Kurtz. Well, Brady joined Todd on the South Coast that year, and they teamed up with Jack Holder and Kyle Newman to bring the then Devils some silverware at Peterborough. Question 5. Brothers Danny King and Jason King both raced together in 2006 for which club? The correct answer is Mildenhall. Well, the King brothers have both ridden for a good number of the same clubs at different points of their career, but it was with the Fen Tigers during their Premier League days. They raced in the same team in 2006. Question number 6. What relation is current Eastbourne captain Edward Kennett to former Eagle skipper Gordon Kennett? The correct answer is nephew. Well, both Gordon and Edward have had a number of spells at Arlington throughout their careers, and as we said, nephew was the answer we were looking for that one. Multiple choice for question number 7. The Worrell twins both missed Newcastle's Knockout Cup glory in 2012 after suffering the same injury, but what did they break? A, arm, B, collarbone, or C, leg? And the correct answer was C, leg. Well, quite remarkably, both Steve and Richie suffered a broken leg apiece, and even more astonishingly, there was only 3 weeks or so between the two's crashes. Moving straight on to question number 8. Which British club links Armando and Paco Castagna? Correct answer is Ipswich. Well, Armando, who of course is now a director of the FIM, raced for the Witches in the late 80s, while son Paco had a spell at Vauxhall in 2016. Question 9. How many years before Charles was James Wright born? Correct answer was 2. Well, Charles Wright was born in 1988, while James was born in 1986. So 2 was the correct answer for question number 9. And the final question of our first theme round, it's all relative. Question number 10. Can you name the 2 British clubs that both father and son Steve and Richard Lawson have officially ridden for during their careers? Correct answer, Glasgow and Workington. Again, leave it entirely up to you for the points you award on that. We're suggesting 1 point if you got both clubs. Well, Steve Lawson rode for Workington between 1974 and 1977, while son Richard raced for the Comets between 2009 and 2013. And Father Steve remained something of a Glasgow legend following his lengthy spell in Scotland between 1978 and 1992, while Richard was a Glasgow Tiger between 2015 and 2017. Straight on to round number 3 then, our second themed round of tonight's quiz, and this one was called Fast Tracking, looking back at the system that was in operation in British Speedway not so long back, and we put your knowledge to the test for this one. So let's go through the answers. Question number 1, for how many seasons did the reserve Fast Track draft system operate in British Speedway? The correct answer is 3. Well, the system was introduced ahead of the 2014 season to help speed up the development of younger or less experienced British riders, and remained in place up until the end of the 2016 campaign. While it received mixed reaction during its existence, it certainly has contributed to a number of success stories. That led us nicely on to question number 2. Charles Wright was picked up by which top flight club as one of their reserves in both 2015 and 2016? The correct answer is Swindon. Well, the current British champion had certainly showed glimmers of his potential whilst also still working away from the shale, but it's arguably the fast track system and his time with the Robins, of course along with his own determination, drive and skill, that has seen him progress to the heights he currently finds himself at. So question 3, and we gave you multiple choice for this one. Only 2 riders retain their reserve position with the same club for the duration of the fast track system. But who were they? The 3 options we gave you were A, Adam Ellis and Ashley Morris, B, B. James Sargent and Carl Newman, and C. Lewis Kerr and Stefan Nielsen? And the correct answer was option B, James Sargent and Kyle Newman. Well, yes, James Sargent was picked up and kept on by Coventry, while Carl Newman proved to be a big point scorer with Poole over all 3 seasons of the system. Question number 4. Kings Lynn's first fast track reserve pairing shared what forename? Of course, the answer is Lewis, and that, of course, is Lewis Kerr and Lewis Rose, both of whom progressed significantly during their time with the Kings Lynn Young Stars in the National League, and both battled away to earn selection by the senior side. Question number 5. Which rider rode for Birmingham, Poole and Leicester during his time as a fast tracker? The correct answer is Paul Stark. Well, Stark raced for the Brummies up until their closure partway through 2014 before making the switch to Wimborne Road the following year. 2016 saw him make steady improvement once again and eventually worked his way into the main body of the Leicester Lions team. Question number 6. We wanted to know if you could name the rider pictured who was selected by Wolverhampton in 2014. And the answer, Joe Jacobs. Well, Jacobs spent 1 season at Monmouth Green before returning to the top flight a couple of years later with Bellevue, but he was then perhaps surprisingly overlooked by Premiership clubs for the 2017 campaign, despite some eye-catching scores. Question 7. Josh Bates featured for 3 clubs under the fast track scheme, but can you name them? Leicester, Wolverhampton and Coventry. Again, 1 point on our marking system for all 3 clubs. You do it how you want to back at home. Well, certainly a Midlands connection there with Leicester, Wolverhampton and Coventry, but Bates was picked up by Leicester partway through 2014 before spending the 2015 campaign with Wolves and 2016 with the Coventry Bees. Question number 8. Only 2 of the following names were fast track picks made by Eastbourne, but which 2? And the 4 riders you could choose between were A. Lewis Blackbird, B. Lewis Bridger, C. Danny Halsey and D. Ben Morley. The 2 riders we were looking for were option A. Lewis Blackbird and option C. Danny Halsey. Well, all 4 of those riders have raced for Eastbourne, but it was the first year of the fast track system that was also the Eagles' final season in the top flight, and therefore the 2014 selections of Blackbird and Halsey gives us the answer to question number 8. Question number 9. Could you name the rider pictured who was drafted in by Bellevue for the opening months of the 2014 season? Ben Reid was the correct answer we were looking for, and that's one of those you either know or you don't, I guess, unless you plucked a name out of thin air, of course. But Ben Reid made some decent progress during his time with the Stoke Potters in the National League and also had a couple of short stints with Plymouth as well. And the final question of tonight's quiz, and it was multiple choice as well. Question number 10 of round number 3. In the final pre-season fast track draft grade list to be released, which rider was ranked number 1? A. Josh Orty, B. Kyle Howarth or C. Steve Worrell? The correct answer was B. Kyle Howarth. Well, Howarth moved on to the list for 2016 despite a solid enough campaign the year before and made the switch from Coventry to Wolverhampton and was ranked number 1 in March of 2016. Well, how have you got on this week then? 40 points up for grab if you did follow the marking system that we suggested along the way. Last week, we did have a few of you who managed to score 35 plus as well. That obviously demonstrates a great Speedway knowledge, or certainly a unique memory, or maybe there was a bit of luck involved along the way, who knows. But even if you only scored a quarter of the points up for grabs, it doesn't really matter. Who really cares? It's the taking part that counts, and as long as you have enjoyed the last hour or so, that's all that really matters to us. And like I say, it keeps us talking and thinking about the sport we all love. Don't forget, this quiz is also available on our YouTube channel for the next few days as well going forward. So if there's someone you think would enjoy it and wants to play along, then do please share the link. Perhaps they're a key worker who couldn't make it this evening. And like I say, once again, a big thanks to all you key workers out there for everything you're doing right now. We have got plenty of content still coming your way on our social media channels. Don't forget on Twitter at SpeedwayGB. Search Speedway GB on Facebook. On Instagram, we're at Official British Speedway, and our YouTube channel, which is Speedway Great Britain. We've seen this week some interview clips, some rare interview clips with Bruce Pennell, and we've got some more exciting things coming your way with some true legends of the sport. So do follow, like and subscribe to our various channels that I've mentioned, and be sure not to miss out. Obviously, we're expecting a government announcement this weekend as well, so who knows how that will impact. For any latest developments, British Speedway Chairman Rob Godfrey is keeping in regular contact with the press office, so keep up to date on our social media channels and our speedwaygb.co.uk website for all the latest breaking developments. Don't forget this Monday, coming up, Monday Night Speedway, both legs of the 2017 Championship Grand Final between the Sheffield Tigers and the Ipswich Witches. And then we'll be back next Friday, 8:30, for, believe it or not, British Speedway Quiz Night number 5. A big thanks to everyone for getting involved this evening and playing along live. Remember, stay at home, protect the NHS and save lives. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll catch you back very soon.